Hello, lovelies. This is 5 Minute Manifesting, and I'm your host, Lovey Brown. Thank you so much for listening. I'm thrilled that you're here. And today, I want to talk to you about using the word preference to soften your desires and to get yourself in sort of a manifesting flow. So, when we're manifesting, I've been trying to think of a way to explain this. When we're manifesting, I talk a lot about techniques, and I think techniques are really good and a useful tool for manifesting. But we know that those techniques are not the thing that manifests. It's you, your focus, your internal being, your state, your selection. All of those things are the best way I can describe it. But it's you that's selecting what you want. Like you're ordering from a catalog. And then it's your focus on that selection, on having that selection, and then your ease kind of around it, your detachment from it, your ease that really kind of brings it into your 3D reality. And so let's see if we can just look at this a different way, right? So often though, when we have a desire, there's this moment where we have a desire, and that moment is lack, because that's the way we identify what we want. So we really should appreciate and have gratitude for that moment of lack, and that moment we realize, hey, I want this specific person. I want $10,000 in my bank account. I want whatever it is. The dream job. The text message, whatever it is that you want, all of your desires. And we have multiple desires a day. But the only way for us to know that we have that desire is to know that it's lacking, is to notice, is to bring our awareness, our focus to the information in our surroundings that thing is lacking from our life. And then we become aware, hey, I want this thing. I want a relationship with this specific person. Now, it happens so naturally, right? The process of desiring something, of noticing the lack of something that you want in your life, that moment when you realize that is so natural and happens so many times a day that we let it slip by without kind of noticing it, right? Like it just happens so quickly, and we don't really notice it, and then we can very often stay in that moment of lack, and it's fine. And you don't have to worry about how long you've wanted something or how long you do stay in that moment of lack. So don't be afraid of hearing that, but it's just sort of like realizing that, and it's moving from that moment. The manifesting process is about moving from that moment to an awareness of self-soothing and kind of being chill and easy about having that thing, or having a preference for that thing that brings it into your life. And so it's like this combination of just different sort of feelings and thoughts and ways of being, sort of like a state. I hear, Neville Goddard talks about states. Embodying the state of the wish fulfilled. So it's that sort of thing, and you're going to use the tools that you have. You're going to use your imagination. You're going to use your ability to focus and bring your awareness on a certain topic. Now, if you want something to leave your life, you want to get your focus off of that, your awareness off of that topic. And that's kind of how the manifesting process works. But often when we have this lack, this moment, and now this moment is essential in the manifesting process, so don't overlook it. But when we have it, we often stay there. And when we stay there, we can get a lot of really sort of angsty, graspy kind of feelings about whatever it is we want, like your specific person. And it kind of feels like desperation. And you want to move from that feeling to a feeling of ease, to a feeling of relief, a feeling, kind of a letting go sort of feeling of relief. And this is often what the detachment step in manifesting is trying to achieve. So I want to offer up a tool for how to loosen this feeling and without kind of using detachment. Now, detachment is great. I think you should definitely detach if that's a tool that you have and you like to use. And there are lots of different ways to do this. And one way you can kind of soften the edges and that brings a type of detachment is to say that this is your preference, right? So you're sort of acknowledging, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm great, I'm wonderful, but I have a preference for a romantic relationship with this specific person. I have a preference for, $1 million. I have a preference for this particular job at this particular company. And that I have a preference for, living at this body weight. I have a preference for, my face looking a certain way. So like all of those things are kind of an easement, kind of easing into the desire as opposed to sort of that grabby, desperate sort of feeling. And so if you can kind of just use your self-talk, use your inner talking as one of the manifesting tools, you're going to use that to kind of just soothe yourself away from that sort of really locked in feeling and use this kind of preference. Yeah, you know what? I have a preference for my specific person, and that's okay, and that's wonderful. I don't need them. I want them, and that's fine. I don't, have to have this. I have a preference for this very handsome man or this beautiful woman. And you just kind of talk to yourself that way, acknowledging that you have a preference for something. And you can even acknowledge that, like if your 3D reality is something that you don't prefer, you can acknowledge that. You can say, I don't prefer this reality. I would prefer this reality. And won't it be wonderful when that is my reality? And that it's just sort of a way to ease into it if the other way feels like you have too much resistance. Like when you're doing your affirmations and you just feel sort of desperate and that feeling in your body isn't good, if you want to ease into another way, that's the way that I use sometimes, and I think it really works for me. I wanted to offer that up to you today, and we will continue to talk about manifesting all through 2025. Thank you so much for listening, and may you manifest exactly what you want.